Hey everyone, Tanner here and welcome back to yet another terrarium build. Today we're going to be redoing the No Opening Terrarium here. Now if you didn't get a chance to see me make this the first time, I recommend watching the video over here just so that you get an idea of how I made this, because I'm not going to really go into as much detail this time around. We're just going to redo it. I uploaded a video just the other week explaining why this didn't work out long term, and if you didn't check out that video, I'll leave the link up here. But in short, I mixed in some of this Nature's Care organic potting mix into my substrate. Typically I would not use this, but I wanted to experiment a little bit since this terrarium was an experiment in the first place, just to kind of add something else to the mix. Now unfortunately it soured up the terrarium basically because it has too many organics in it that just are not suitable for a closed terrarium. So if you tried to set up a terrarium and it didn't work out and it looks something similar to this, and you used this potting mix, that's likely why it didn't work out. With the introduction out of the way, why don't we go outside and clean this terrarium? So we're back and we've got the container completely cleaned out. That was a lot harder to do than I thought it would be, but we finally got it all cleaned out. I think my battery died about halfway through, so I'm not sure how much that you guys even saw, but long story short, it took a while and there's a little bit of gravel left in here, but that's alright because we're going to be adding more anyways, so no big deal. If you remember, whenever we did the original video, I was basically moving the container around the entire time in attempts to try to film it, but I made something here to make my life a little bit easier. What I've got here is a little makeshift stage. So what this is going to allow me to do is put the terrarium up on top here and actually work in it while it's stationary, so that way it's not moving around the whole time and we can get some good camera angles. So I think I've talked enough. Why don't we start adding the gravel down into here to make the false bottom? And what I'm going to be using is this little tool that I made. It's just a copper wire with a plastic spoon taped to the end so that I can just put the gravel on it and dump it into the container pretty easily. That was way easier this time around. I had a lot of trouble getting those up there last time. So now we'll add the rocks into the insert. Now that we've got all the gravel in place, which will act as our drainage element, we'll add the window screen mesh here. Next we're going to add the substrate layer. I can't remember if I had a charcoal layer in the terrarium last time, but I've charcoal mixed into the substrate here, so I'm just going to skip that process and put in a substrate layer. And of course we'll do the same thing with the insert. Now that we've got the container ready to go, we'll take a look at our plants. First and foremost, we'll start out with some mosses. What I have here, here, and here are all star mosses. Then I have some badge moss here, Hypnum Moss here, and some pillow moss. Now I'm only going to be using the star moss, Hypnum Moss, and badge moss for this terrarium. I've also got some Java moss here, as well as several Anubias petite, some Acorus gramineus, which is a nice little grassy plant. I'm probably going to break it up into several plants here because obviously I only have two. I could probably get maybe like 4 out of these, 4 or 5. And then plant them near the background. And finally, I have some Slaginella kraussiana gold tips and Slaginella uncinata. I'm not sure if I'm going to add more plants to the mix. I might as I go, but right now I think that's where I'm going to start out. So now we're going to begin setting up the terrarium. I'm going to plant and hardscape simultaneously. Normally I would do most of the hardscape and then plant the terrarium, but the way that this is situated, I feel like I could get away with doing them at the same time. So for hardscape, I'm just going to add stones, bark, sticks, whatever I can get out of my bin here. I don't really have any kind of set idea. I'm just going to go with it. And yeah, that's pretty much what I got to say. So why don't we start making the terrarium? Alright, so we've got the terrarium pretty much complete here. We just have to plant the insert. And to do so, I remembered that I had this Syngonium podophyllum mini pixie laying around, and it doesn't really get any bigger than you see right here. And the way that I want to do it is I'll actually use the rule of thirds. And for those of you who are in design or photography, that sort of thing, that I'm sure you know about the rule of thirds. But essentially, we'll have it on this side of the terrarium, incorporating the rule of thirds, and it will create a good look for this terrarium, I think. Alright, so the last thing that we have to do is water the terrarium and add the springtails. So to water, I'm just going to use this pipette and literally just pipe a little bit of water on there. Now all of the moss already had water. I soaked the substrate before I put it in the terrarium, and the rocks were wet as well. So I'm not going to add very much to this at all. I'm really just getting these mosses on here a little bit damp. And to add the springtails, I'm simply going to get a piece of charcoal from one of my cultures and tap it with this piece of copper to get them to fall into there. And that should be good on those. I don't really think we need that many. I didn't really use that much wood in here, so molding's probably not going to be that much of a thing. So the side that you're viewing this from right now, that's going to be the viewing side. And all that I have to do now is just put the insert on into the terrarium. Now this is one of the hardest parts because I don't want to ruin that Syngonium. And now what I'm going to try to do is I have this wooden shish kebab skewer, or bamboo rather, and I'm going to try to stick it up in between the insert and the main part and do my best to kind of get this situated properly. Unfortunately, it kind of shifted a little bit from one of the leaves on that Syngonium, but I should be able to get it back close enough to where it was. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Now let's just seal it up. And that's going to conclude this terrarium build. Let me know down in the comments below what you guys think of it this time around. Did you like it previously, or do you like this one better? I think I like this one better. It just has a lot of nice texture to it, and I just like the selection of plants and all that sort of thing. Few different types of mosses in here, all are pretty cool. I like the Anubias nanas a lot. I think that as they spread out and kind of establish, they're going to look really cool. And then the Syngonium podophyllum mini pixie is also a good addition as well, along with the Acorus gramineus, which is that grass in the background. So overall, definitely liking this. I think it was a good call to redo it, and I'm kind of glad that I went wrong the first time, just because I enjoyed making it again, and it was much easier this time around with that thing that I made. But I think I had overlooked it still, because it was pretty difficult to make. And if you ever make an opening terrarium like this, you'll see what I'm talking about. It's not easy to make something like this, but I'm pleased with how it turned out. And that's officially all that I got for you guys today. If you like this terrarium build, please give me a thumbs up. I'd greatly appreciate it. If you like educational entertainment, I like to call it edutainment, stuff like this, definitely subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. We've got a lot of cool projects coming up in the near future, and that's pretty much it. I'll see you guys next time. Peace.